Eagles training camp day 5, and I'm telling you right now, once those pads come on, it is a totally different story. It is truly night and day when it comes to a defense that's going to be more motivated to get physical. Coming to these training camp practices, let's go over day 5 all day.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what's going on, guys? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day today. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves. So, day 5 of Eagles training camp. The Eagles are in full pads now. It's a totally different story because now things are going to start to get real. We separate the men from the boys. That's what happens in these situations. Now, the first bit of news, I kind of want to go over just the highlights for today. I'm not going to go over every single thing, every little tiny detail of it, because I want to go over the bigger things since pads are on now. And the Eagles released Mario Goodrich today. So the Eagles lose a corner, safety, wherever he was really playing going into this offseason program. The Eagles did sign offensive lineman Nick Gates, a heavy veteran presence. To be a backup center, I would have to believe right now because I don't think they like Matt Hennessy at center right now, and I don't think they like Dylan McMahon at center right now. There's really nobody else other than that. Okay, we don't really have that backup in case Cam goes down, knock on wood, or we have to kind of change things up. But Nick Gates had 64 snaps last season at center. He plays center and both guard spots. I think in 21 he had like over 1,000 snaps at center. So there's a lot of familiarity there playing center, bringing him in. Good move. He was with the Giants last year. I know before that he was with the Commanders. Anybody that's with the Giants last year has pretty much has done nothing. So he has started games for the Commanders in the past. He has got some starting quality. So to bring a guy in like this is really nice. Just for a backup, nothing crazy, but probably the best backup center that we have is now Nick Gates, since I don't think they feel that Matt Hennessy will either make the roster, not make the roster, or Dylan McMahon will still be here most likely, but just is a rookie as well and a late round draft choice. Give the guy more time down the road. So I thought this was a really good move kind of going forward. Okay, now to the really good stuff. Okay, Quinyon Mitchell today, wow, rose to the occasion, rose to the top. Okay, him and A.J. Brown were going at it like nonstop. It's always a great competition. I mean, like I've said in the past, iron sharpens iron. Quinyon Mitchell had his press conference after the 5th day of Eagles training camp and said they've been putting me at nickel, they've been putting me on the inside, outside, dime. They've been pretty much putting him everywhere. Okay, remember we don't have Cooper DeJean, and we don't have Sidney Brown right now. So things are a little slim, but still a lot of depth at corner. Regardless, these guys will get quality work. And who do we want to get more quality work with? Our first-round pick and Quinyon Mitchell. He's showing a lot of pushback. He did a little less trash talking today. But in the past he did use it during rookie camp during mini camp, but it's kind of focusing more on making some of these plays, which is great. He says it was a privilege. It's a privilege to go against the best of the best. I mean, this is the best work that Quinyon Mitchell is going to get against one of the best receivers in the league and the best receiver on this team as of right now. Okay, so here are the details of what happened, so this way you know that it's literally true. So it says Quinyon Mitchell went 2 for 2 against A.J. Brown on one-on-one in the end zone. Jaylen Herz didn't even throw the ball on the first route with Mitchell having Brown covered. Mitchell stared him down. In the second matchup, Brown had a one-handed catch in the back corner of the end zone, which was impressive as it could get. Brown was out of bounds because Mitchell had blanket coverage on him. So realistically, he covered him 2 times. One time, Jaylen Herz didn't throw to him, so they decided not to throw to him. And another time, A.J. Brown did catch the ball one-handed, but he was already out of bounds, so good coverage by Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, this is really what I want, guys. So I know they have put in Quinyon in the nickel spot a lot more than the outside. Seems like Keely Ringo has been really the prime spot. Now, Vic Fangio has said that the combination of guys, he's still figuring out who's going to be the number 1 guy, or the number 2 guy, I should say, as of right now. okay, no decision has been made on who's really starting. They're moving guys constantly every single day. The competition is still alive right now. So I think this is Keely Ringo's job to lose on the outside. And because Cooper DeJean is out, Quinyon Mitchell might be taking that spot. And we'll find out when Cooper DeJean comes back. Hopefully the week of August 11th, he'll only miss one preseason game. He'll make the joint practices and hopefully be able to play in those next 2 preseason games after that. So Cooper DeJean's missing some very valuable time right now, taking a lot of mental reps. But we all know what we want. We want Quinyon Mitchell to start in this secondary. We don't want him to have a redshirt year this year and just be disappointed that next year he'll have to start all over again, like it's a learning period again. And hopefully keeping both of these coordinators in the building. So I think that's really a big help going forward. So Quinyon Mitchell just showing a lot of fight, and that's what I've been hearing from all the beat writers, a lot of fight. He doesn't back down. I mean, that's what you want in a cornerback. Isn't just going to put his head down and, when he has a bad play, is going to give up and really show it, and his motivation's just not there. It's not going to happen. Quinyon Mitchell is totally a different prospect. This is going to make him tougher. This is going to make him a better football player, and we have the offense to make him better. So I thought Quinyon Mitchell making a lot of noise today was absolutely fantastic. And even the past few days of training camp, even when Quinyon Mitchell hasn't been getting beat by 10, 15 yards of separation, Quinyon Mitchell is getting beat by a millisecond of separation, but really just receivers finishing the play on him. But he's had good coverage all of camp. So a lot here that's really good. Very, very proud of him, and I hope he shows us more. And I can't wait to see how this whole thing kind of develops into one thing. So very excited on that. Isaiah Rodgers, obviously a quality corner that's been in the league for 3 years. Still, that's what he has on a lot of these guys, a lot of these younger guys. He's got 3 years in the league, and you have a starting guy here. Multiple pass breakups from Isaiah Rodgers, still doing good at a couple of them today. Still just doing fantastic. I mean, it's overwhelming how much depth we have at this position, because in the past we've never really had this much depth at all. Usually you would use Malcolm Jenkins as your moving piece around, to bandage up your secondary where it's weak the most and really depend on your defensive line. But this year it's a different year. They put more assets into the secondary than the defensive line. Relying on more fast break tackles, getting off blocks and making plays, getting 4 or 5 football helmets to the football. So it feels different. The defense feels totally different from a standpoint of what they put more assets into, which is definitely the secondary. You had Darius Slay today, had a pass breakup on Devontae Smith. Slay has had a very solid camp. I don't really worry about him too much. I know, after last year, we're kind of worrying about him and his comments throughout the year on his podcast and what's been going on. But Slay's playing well, playing a high level. Talked about, is this the last year of him being a Philadelphia Eagle? He honestly doesn't know. But I think the Eagles are definitely going to try to trade him if he is staying in the league or not retiring. They will try to trade him after this year. So hopefully he has a really good year and he's having a good camp. So that's great. The defensive line had a lot of fun. See, when you put these pads on, it changes like everybody's focus. It changes defensive players' momentum. Defensive linemen, I don't count too much when they have no pads on. I mean, they get pressures and stuff like that, but you're not facing guys with pads. It's a totally different, and I think they're not playing as more than 100% that they should be. They should be when you're not going to really hurt somebody with pads on. Jalen Carter tossing Mekhi Becton, scraping by him and tossing him to the side. I don't think he pancaked him, but what I heard from practice, he literally tossed him and got to Jaylen Herz, which is absolutely amazing. Jordan Davis, the same Jordan Davis, when got some pressure against the run today, was getting pressure on the quarterback, was fantastic. So both of those guys, we know how important where's the defense start? It starts with Jalen Carter. It starts with Jordan Davis. So this, to hear this is awesome. The pads come on, and then we really get to see realistic physicality, football physicality when it comes to on that level, when it comes to training camp, when you have the pads on, fantastic thing. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, same thing. I mean, Chauncey was all over the field today. I mean, he was making some tackles against the run. He was all over the place. But what everyone is noticing with Chauncey is just the swag that he has. I mean, when someone else makes a play, he is all on somebody. Just rooting for somebody, and just like he just brings this essence of motive. Like I can't even really explain it. It's like you want to follow Chauncey to the grave. Like you want to follow Chauncey all over the place because he just puts that extra bit of energy in the team. And I think that's what we've been missing. Him going to the Lions was a huge mistake last year. He knows that. Us fans know that. It's intoxicating of how much of a presence he is. And we haven't talked about much this offseason, not really worried about him much this offseason, but is here for 3 years with the Eagles, which is great. So we solidify that safety spot and hopefully makes his presence known this 2024 season. Can't wait for him. And then everything else, Nakobe Dean actually made a tackle today against the run today, which was great. Had his right arm out. I had an arm tackle today, which was good. Now, hearing the news on Nakobe Dean, which was interesting. So he said after the 5th day of practice that he wasn't cleared for full contact until yesterday. So he literally just made the cut on really putting the full pads on for the first day. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Obviously, a lot of question marks from the Kobe Dean. Number one is availability, staying healthy. The guy's got to stay healthy because how are we going to know if he's good or bad if the guy we can't see him at his best? Rooting for him entirely, because realistically, if you look at who started, it was Devin White, Zach Bond at linebacker, and you had literally Quinyon Mitchell at nickel. You had Isaiah Rodgers, Keely Ringo, and you had Slay at the corner spots really to start with everything. Nakobe Dean's been with the second team mostly. So need to see more from him going forward, and we'll see what happens. It's still a question mark right now. 5th day training camp. It's only been 5 days. We haven't been through a week of training camp yet. I mean, it seems like it's going slow, but we're getting there. Now, Jaylen Herz, interesting day today. I mean, this was more of a defensive day today. So Jaylen Herz has had probably statistic-wise, he's done really well during this training camp than any other training camp he has had under Kellen Moore, or Kellen Moore being the new coordinator this year. Now, Hertz was doing red zone drills, 3 for 4, 2 touchdowns to Gainwell. Gainwell is looking really good right now. From what everyone is saying, Kenneth Gainwell, as a receiving back, has looked more fluid with his body movement and has done some good things during training camp. So, contract year for Kenneth Gainwell, obviously, has got to put on a big show for the Philadelphia Eagles and their fans this year. A.J. Brown had a touchdown in the end zone. Johnny Wilson had a front end zone touchdown. So Johnny Wilson really started to get a vibe going there, which is good. Johnny Wilson worked with Jaylen Herz in the offseason as well. Johnny Wilson's exciting to me because I don't think he'll be anything this year. I think by 25, after another offseason program under his belt going to next season, I think he'll be a very valuable weapon to us. Johnny Wilson now, I think, could be used this year for the Eagles in red zone because of his size. And all the beat writers are saying, man, this guy just has size over everybody. His height, it just kills everybody, literally. Throw it up to him, he catches it pretty damn easily. So I want to see more Johnny Wilson in preseason and see what other things he could do to see all these guys kind of be in action finally instead of hearing about it all the time. So I like that. Hertz had a solid day, underthrew some passes, but I mean at the same time, the defense is getting more physical now. First day with pads on, so the defense is a little bit more motivated and uplifted because of the full pads and all of that. So still a solid day for Jaylen Herz. And lastly, Brittain Covey. I think this was really interesting too because he had a press conference after practice. Okay, Brittain Covey's been watching a lot of film this year on a lot of slot receivers, Cole Beasley especially. Because Kellen Moore was a part of Cole Beasley's career, one of the most successful times of his career. Okay, I think he is retired now. I'm not sure. I think he is. So he's been watching a lot of film. Now, Jaylen Herz brought Brittain Covey to the side and say, just trust what we're doing. Just trust Kellen Moore. So you already know Jaylen Herz has been 100% on board with Kellen Moore, the relationship they have, taking essence from Jaylen Hertz's gameplay from last year, putting into this year's playbook, and obviously adding all the new aspects with Kellen Moore involved. Brittain Covey is really trying to solidify himself as a number 3 receiver for the Eagles this year. I don't know if it's going to happen because there's just way too much in front of him. Paris Campbell looks like, as of right now, he's leading the job with Aniyah Smith struggling in camp with some drops. John Ross is solid. Whether they keep 5 or 6 receivers, I guess we'll find out by the end of the day. Brittain Covey, I could really see as a third down receiver that's used for pre-snap motion, using his speed to kind of keep the defense on their heels a little bit and doing some good things that way. As a full-timer, I'm not sure. But let me tell you, as a special teamer, whether they put him at kick return, punt return, because we know Anaya Smith, John Ross, Brittain Covey, all those, Will Shipley, all those guys are doing punt returns and kick returns as of right now. And, we'll see what happens. But I would love, if Brittain Covey just became just a madman, just like a full-grown number 3 for us, I wouldn't mind it at all. But do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I think they could use, Kellen Moore could trick defenses and kind of put him in some specific plays, in pre-snap motion and kind of use his speed to his advantage. Because I liked how the Eagles tried to do that with him last year. At the end of the year, when everything was falling apart, they started using Brittain Covey in the offense a little bit. And I was like, I know what you're trying to do, but it's really not working. So I guess I had to give him credit for trying. But, I thought that was really interesting. Brittain Covey's obviously, I think this is the last year on his contract. I could be wrong. But if it is, it's a contract year and really has to make the most of it. There has been rumors that Brittain Covey is going to get extended, because I'm telling you right now, like a special teamer, I think he's the best special teamer we have. When it comes to a return specialist, I'm kind of waiting for that punt return touchdown, hopefully. We'll see if they actually try to put him on kick returns. We did hear from Michael Clay today that he's taking a lot of film from the XFL, over 400-plus kickoffs he's been watching in the XFL, because the rules have changed to those rules now on kickoff. So seeing, taking whatever to their advantage they can use on kickoffs, kick returns, whatever, to make this team successful. A third part of the game that everyone thinks is boring, but it's very important to us because it puts the offense in good field position. And obviously you can keep the offense off the field a lot longer if you could score early on special teams. So I thought that was really cool. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. We talked about Quinyon Mitchell, A.J. Brown. We talked about, obviously, the signing of Nick Gates. We talked about Chauncey. We talked about Jalen Carter, Slay, Jaylen Herz, what he did, Johnny Wilson, A.J. Brown, everything entirely. First day of pads, fantastic. It's going to start to go in motion now. Now we're really going to see who's stepping up to the plate in full pads. It should be really exciting. I can't wait. Let me know what you guys think about this whole entire situation going forward. I hope everybody's excited, and I'll see you guys on the next day of training camp. Just remember, on the open practice, me and Philly will be streaming the whole entire open practice, doing a reaction with you guys, and we're going to unveil some surprises for you during that stream, which we're very excited for. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more Eagles news every single day. Like the stream, helps out the channel tremendously. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow, slide. Peace out, guys. Peace.